Good morning and thank you for coming on my channel this morning. This is video one. The real Working Royals have been out and about. We've got lots to talk about with them. Please don't forget to hit that like button and the subscribe button before we even get started. That helps with the algorithm. Remember, this is an experiment. But before we go there, I have a sponsor and this is super important, so listen up. Hi everybody. I am back again to talk to you about Aura. As I've told you previously, one of the fabulous benefits of Aura is spam call protection. I've also told you previously about how Aura is great for financial fraud protection. They're also great for removing your personal information off the web. I've also told you previously how Aura can help with parental controls, allowing your kids to browse online safely by filtering harmful sites and easily manage how much time they can actually spend on apps and on the web. Now let's cover a few other things about Aura that you don't know. One of the features Aura has, a vault. What is a vault? Simple. It is a digital lockbox that protects your data and sensitive digital files with military-grade encryption. Another great thing for Aura, password manager. If you're like me, you have so many passwords, you have to write them down because you can't remember. Aura has a password manager that can store and access your online passwords securely across multiple apps. It's important for you to know that you can access everything from an easy-to-use app that you can use on multiple devices. Just remember, with Aura, you get 10 things in one and all necessary if you're online. All-in-one protection for the whole family, and you get a 2-week free trial. So sign up for Aura today. Super important information, my friends. Very important. One company that does so much. Now let's jump into our video for the day. Let's go. We're going to start off with William. He was spotted out this morning. People were cheering. They were waving at him as he was walking into the building. It was fabulous. They were meeting about homelessness, which we know is one of William's big things. Now, this is really interesting. This gentleman was waiting out front. He obviously was challenged, and he looked up and he goes, "Can I have a picture with you?" And William goes, "Yes." And it took the man a minute to put all of his stuff down, to get organized. William even helped him make sure the camera was turned the right way. And then he thanked William. And William even said to him, "No rush, we have all the time in the world." It was so sweet and genuine. When he was done taking the picture, he walked into, it's a place called the Learning Zone. They were hosting a housing workshop discussing solutions that help support local families that are at risk for homelessness. It was announced that a DIY chain in the UK called Homebase agreed to give, if you can imagine this, £1 million of paint, furniture, flooring, and furnishings to anyone who gets a house or a roof over their head via the Prince's scheme. In the meantime, landlords in Sheffield, where William was visiting, signed up to provide the accommodations for families on the brink of experiencing homelessness. So you sign up, and these people from this DIY chain are going to let you paint it, fix it up, new flooring, new furniture, and put these people in. How wonderful is that? Some of the people that William actually sat down with were local landlords, and they were there to discuss their support of these families because the city is growing. They heard about the housing commitments they're willing to make to support the program, and a group of landlords, it's saying in the article, including Keystone Property Group, Places for People, Let's Move, My Landlord Cares, Arches Housing, they have pledged more than 30 3- and 4-bedroom properties for families on the brink of losing their homes. How wonderful. This is how you know that William had an idea, he put it into fruition, and it's bearing fruit, unlike other people who just talk. I also want to touch on this headline because I did a video for my Patreon people about that. You should know that since I did that, Rose has lawyered up because she's had enough. Good for her. And good for William doing what he's doing. I love it. Let's move on now. Let's move on now to the Princess Royal, Princess Anne, and Sophie the Duchess. Apparently, King Charles was unable to make a reception that went on at Buckingham Palace. It was to greet veterans, which they were there to mark the 70th anniversary of the end of the Korean War. Charles said he was very frustrated to miss it, with the treatments, but he was very grateful to Anne and Sophie for stepping up. So in marking the 70th anniversary of the Korean War, the article says the royal family was trying to honor these 60,000 British and 50,000 Commonwealth service men and women who served during that war. Charles sent a message, which Anne read. I'm not going to read you the whole thing, but here's just a little bit of it. He said, "I'm delighted that so many of you are able to attend today's reception, a rather belated gathering, I fear, to mark 70 years having passed since the end of the war. And it is a personal ambition of mine to invite all of you in some form to Buckingham Palace to recognize this significant milestone and ensure you are all most deservingly honored for your valiant service over 70 years ago." That is some touching stuff. Love that. Anne and Sophie went around the room greeting all the veterans. You know how that goes. They're very good at that sort of thing. I love that these men are wearing their old uniforms. I just think that is just so freaking nice. And I also want to throw in, if they do have events like this in the United States, I've never seen it. And I've looked. And I don't ever see stuff like this. Sorry. Now, some other notable people there were the Korean ambassador to the UK, His Excellency, I'm just going to say Mr. Yoon. I can't pronounce his first name. And he also went around and spoke with the war veterans. Also present at the reception was Vice Admiral Sir Tony Johnstone Burt, who is the master of the King's household. The young lady all the way on the right in the purple who met with Anne and Sophie, that is Director of Remembrance. Her name is Philippa Rawlinson. And also present was the Lord Chamberlain Andrew Parker of Minsmere. There's a lot of really high-profile people that were at that particular reception. I, for one, very much like to see things where Sophie is paired up like with Anne or with other people because I just love them both. They both have very good work ethic. And once again, as I was saying, I feel like Sophie's style has been, I'm trying to think of the right word, elevated. I mean, look at what Anne's wearing. I love what Anne is wearing. I love that brooch. But Sophie, I don't know. She just seems to have picked up the pace, if that makes any sense what I'm trying to say. And as usual, a big thank you to Remoulade Sauce for showing us everything that Sophie was wearing and the cost of it all. All right, let's move on now to King Charles. Now, we all know that Russia, for whatever reason, decided to report that King Charles was dead. It's the craziest thing. I don't know why they would do something so stupid. Russian media outlets passed around a phony fake palace announcement, and it was the British embassy in Ukraine that quickly said, this is all fake, but it was absolutely put out by the Russian media. But anyway, King Charles was pictured leaving Windsor Castle in the morning, and then later on, he held an audience at Buckingham Palace to meet with veterans of the Korean War. This took place before Sophie and Anne's reception. So the king was in the 18th century room, and he met the following people: Alan Guy, Mike Mongridge, Brian Parrott, and Ron Yardley. The other reception was being held for over 200 people in the Bow Room at the palace. Honestly, I, for one, am just happy to see King Charles, doing whatever, because it shows me that even though he's having treatment for cancer, it's not so bad that, you know what I'm saying? He looks a little thinner, but all in all, I think, Charles looks pretty good. All right, you guys, thank you for following me to video 1. Go ahead and follow me to video 2. You know what to do. See you there.